was having a conversation with a friend earlier today talking about how we won't really know ourselves unless we have like get into positions of being able to choose and to have more power and to see what you would actually do with it if you could, or you've done something, you see the effects it has, and then you're like, oh wow, like I can do this and I can do this. So I'm speaking from a place of like inexperience in this. So, there's also that. So I recognize that. I mean, that's a really powerful thing to be able to manipulate people or have control over situations in your life. It goes beyond just a love spell when you learn the art of that.
Yeah, I mean, see, I'm just trying to be as honest as I can with myself. That's really what I'm trying to do. Because I found that's the only force that cannot be destroyed. Everything else can be destroyed. If you walk the path of truth, you cannot be destroyed, because the truth will always, like, it's indestructible because it is in alignment with what is. So being as truthful with yourself, or as truthful as possible, brings about things that are incredible, where it's essentially like this. People look for happiness, but looking for happiness is not a good idea. What you should look for is an expansion of power, because in those moments you become happy. I feel happy when, in some way or another, my ability to influence the world increases. What does that mean? You could call that power in some way or another. If I gain power through something that I worked on, and now boom, I have more influence over my life and my world and control, I am happy. Those are the moments of happiness. And when I look for happiness, when I look for amusement, those are sugar highs. They never last, and they're artificial, and they're empty. So hard work before an increase in power is what really, really satisfies me and fulfills me with happiness. And I think a big problem, especially in the spiritual community, is that people try to escape this world and they try to find happiness somewhere else. And it's all a fucking shit show with hypocrites and people that are not even in touch with art. They claim to be super powerful magicians, but they can't even control what goes in their mouth, right? Looking at them. So I see it like Nietzsche. Okay, so Nietzsche basically said we should look to expand our power, and that's where happiness lies. And I completely 100% agree. The most unbearable feeling in this world is to be in a situation that you feel you have no control over. It's always that. And subconsciously, we understand that if we don't have control over our environment, we're at the mercy of other people, which is horrible, which is a bad feeling. We're at the mercy of circumstances. We're at the mercy of this and that. And yeah, like, what brings people to magic and witchcraft? Exactly that. It's the feeling of powerlessness. People seek power, just like any other creature on this planet. Every living organism on this planet seeks power. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're honest with yourself and you don't become unethical. Now, of course, you have the choice to be unethical. However, there's a natural law that will basically make you get fucked over 10 times stronger than you fuck over somebody else. I've seen it many, many times. Karma is a real thing. And karma is a bitch. You do, like, exactly what you do is going to be not in the exact same form, but the energy is going to revert back 10 times. So everybody can be unethical, but experience will teach you that you can't fool people long term, and you also can't fool nature. So you can't just be a reckless asshole and live your life due to might is right. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, Ragnar Redbeard. Anyway, so it's basically a certain philosophy where you just be the most cunning asshole in the world, or 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene and all these things, right? There's some truth to those things. However, you can't live your life like that. You got to find balance between altruism and yourself, because you're part of a system that has to benefit from you existing. Otherwise, you'll be taken out of the system. That's how nature works. There's a bigger game going on than you, but at the same time, you are supposed to expand in power and grow in power. That is what. Remember, I mean, everything is a feedback mechanism, right? And this whole thing that we call life, including spiritual evolution, is a game. And the game can never stop. The feelings that we get, the feelings of fulfillment, the feelings of happiness, the feelings of bliss that are not artificially constructed through drugs, they're a signal of what is good for us. They're a signal of what is right for us. And everybody who expands their power their sovereignty, their ability to deal with the world feels empowered. They feel powerful, and they feel strong, and they feel happy. And we like those feelings because they make us able to deal better with the world, you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is essentially you have to first use that power in order to outgrow it. Okay. So if I would get in a relationship right now, I would not put a love spell on it. I have done it with many, many, many women in the past. However, I would not do that again. Why? Because I have outgrown it. I know what it's like. I know I could, but I won't. I won't do it because it's not organic. It's not what I need. Listen, worst case, I just put a spell out there. I call up a demon to bring me the exact woman that I want, perfectly, perfectly congruent with whatever I'm looking for, and boom, within 7 to 10 days, she's gonna come into my life. I know that, you know. So it's a matter of outgrowing things. You know, imagine you were a baby, you couldn't walk. Then you learned how to walk, you were super happy. And the reason for that is why? Because now your ability to deal with the world expanded. You could now walk around without having to ask your mommy to do that, right? And then, I mean, this is a funny example maybe, but the same happens throughout our entire lives. You know, so whatever, you have a job, you're dependent on somebody to give you money, and you have to ask them, can I don't know, can I have a day off? Can I do this and that and the other? This is your freedom being contracted. And then you create something that allows you to schedule your own stuff and make your own schedule and say, no, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. Boom. Your happiness is going to increase with that. Expansion of freedom always is happiness, and there is no freedom without power. I know a lot of people believe that, or seem to believe that, especially people that are more on the left when it comes to the political spectrum, you know, social justice warriors and all that bullshit. These people live in a fantasy world. The world is a harsh place. There's no power without freedom. There's also no power without the ability to protect it and to protect yourself. So if you want peace, prepare for war. That's my philosophy.